Hey y'all, I wanted to show you how I make my own mums from scratch. I want to make sure that you know to have a good stapler. I recently bought a better stapler than what I have here, but you're going to line up your ribbons, measuring them all the same length, but I like to line them up at the bottom. When you line them up at the bottom, it gives you an even effect on the mum. Don't worry so much about the top, because that's really not going to be your thing you're going to see. But if you'll notice on the edges, I like to angle them. You can also add extra cardboard on the side if you want to. I don't like to do that because I don't want to do additional backing at the very end. I just like for it all to flow from the one circle. But notice I'm lining up my ribbons at the bottom, and they will angle up on the edges a little bit. I usually add about 14, 15 on the very back row. That will be what your person will be up against their clothes, so please be careful not to do like glitter ones or things that will snag their clothes. I do use my iPad to hold down all the ribbons. I line them up. You can staple them individually. It's kind of your preference. If you will just figure out what works best for you and do that, but then constantly like study and try to figure out a better way to do it, a more efficient way to do it. For me, every year I learn something new, or I'll relearn something a different way. Here I have the next layer being the red ribbons. Sometimes I add even another row of just white. The customer wanted a not plain, but more simple look. Even though this mum, you'll see it has a lot of braids in it. They wanted more simple looks, so I decided to just do a one layer white in the back, and then because there were going to be a lot of braids and not as much fluff in it, I did these braids where you can see them when it peeks through, when the braids move. It has the spirit colors in there. Notice that all of my ribbons are so far going on this one cardboard backer. You want to make sure that that center hole is exposed. Here I am stapling around the center hole, and you'll see later I will adjust. I would adjust it and cut the ribbon around it. Here I'm adding just some of the little ribbons that they gave me to add. There are some customers that want specific ribbons, specific trinkets. This year I did not have a lot of trinkets on there. A lot of students don't want trinkets. So here you'll see me adding the braid. You can add the braids with it laying down. I like to add the braids hanging up. And here you'll see me cutting the center out. This is, again, my preference. I like to make sure that that hole is showing. Even though I still covered it, I will cut later. But again, I like to hang mine up. This is just twine on the mirror. You can do it anywhere. And I like to see how the ribbons are going to hang off of the cardboard on the mum. And so it really helps me a lot to see it hanging down already. You can see how even the ribbons are on the bottom. That's for me lining them up on the table. For me, I use the straight edge of my table, but you can use tape for lining it up so that they're all straight. I like to clip my ribbons on, and I'm just showing you here. I like to clip them on because I like to see what they look like. I also like to check and make sure that the ribbons are showing. And so I will add my my top of the my mum head, just to see that it's not going to cover up the names. And if I need to move the ribbons down a little more or adjust the mum head. Again, this stapler was actually the worst. I needed a new one. And so I think it's called a Boss Stitch is what I have now. But adjust your ribbons. It's okay to undo them if you don't like the way that they look. This is why I clip them sometimes, and then obviously I forgot here. But because I don't like to add the extra cardboard on the sides, I do need to adjust and readjust these ribbons. And staple them about 2 or 3 times or more, because if they do tug, you don't want it falling down and ripping off. You can add ribbons and trinkets at this time. The cardboard backer is literally just for the ribbons. Again, this is what I do. Everyone does it different. For me, I just like it better for visualization, and so for me it's easier to work with to add just ribbons on this backer. I know this little braid looks short on the right, but this is what the customer wanted, and it was their preference. So you need to mums are custom, so you've got to ask the questions, unless they say I trust you, which I'll show you a mom that I totally was like, okay, I'm gonna make it. They were inspired by another mom, and then I know them, and so I did a little extra, and they loved it. Okay, now once I have all my ribbons stapled on there, you're going to attach the top of the mum head, and it really is that easy. I like to attach it laying down. This is also when I will attach the ribbon or rope that I'm gonna that the student's gonna use to hang around their neck. Now, I showed in another video how to make the mum head, and so that will answer any other questions. But I do make the mum head on another cardboard backer, and then I glue it together. You can also staple it together. Some of them I staple, some of them I glue. It really depends on what I guess you are working with there. This is what I use for my students, for them to hang around their neck. I just feel it's more sturdy. Apply a generous amount of glue on there, and then please don't burn yourself. I can't tell you how many blisters I have just from this one part. But attach a ribbon on there, and then I go back and if the mom head is not on there, I go back and I attach, I staple them even more. But this gluing is enough to hold it all there. So now my mom head is attached, my ribbons are in place, and what I like to do with this rope is just add some hot glue on the tips so it does not fray. You can use a ribbon here if you want, and then I know there's some mum attachments just for it. I don't like the ones with the hooks in the cardboard because I feel like it's going to rip off. There might be more secure. This to me is my thing that I like to use, so I get these at Hobby Lobby. This is also the part where if you were making a garter, you would attach the garter, but I would do the garter before I would do the mum head permanently on there. This is the last piece to making the mum, to assembling it, and this makes it just look pretty. Sometimes I just trace the circle the size of the back of the mum, and then on cardboard, and then glue it on there, and it is quite beautiful. Oh, I forgot this part. You gotta glue that part down pretty well. Just hold it on there for a little bit, and the braids will lay as you glue it down too. So just be careful in what you're doing, and watch and fluff and undo and redo whatever you need to do. Please ask me questions if you have questions. I really hope my videos help. My heart is to teach. I'm a teacher at heart, and so I hope this works for you.